And we're back. Okay. So let us look at the people. Get the perps in line. Not sure what Supreme Burgers and these have to do with anything. I hope that I'm not missing anything. So alphanumeric input is half width. I don't know what that means. So who was involved in stealing? Let's answer or get closer to that answer first. So we are going to get the questions. 1, 2. Purse snatcher was person arrested. And why is this? Amount of money from lottery and purse. Wild card. Not young guy. So we know that the guy standing next to the van is the getaway driver. So the man arrested was driver, probably, because I should add some sort of insignia at the end, because we don't really have evidence. We have evidence, but we don't have any proof of anything. So these two are true. This one is and the money was in the van, so maybe the two guys did it, but she only said there was one guy and saw them, so there might have been two, there might have been one. I don't know why the money would be, maybe the money is waiting to be split, because that sort of confuses me, because you don't have a separate pile of you don't have the purse in the car, of course, but you don't have the separate sort of money. And it's been days, I would imagine, since the arrest. So someone still holds that $640 without using it. Just seems a little weird. Let's look at the newspaper one more time. At least one more time. So local business. So Hardison Groceries goes out of business, and just before I start doing that, it might be that one that's old, or it might have nothing to do with anything. Pyramid scheme. So that's high corporate stuff. I think the only thing, methods to check for for the authenticity of cash can be found on page 4. I would love to see that and use it on the cash, just to, see if we have some counterfeit money there. So there might be, we might be getting into that one later, so I'll have to read it at my own leisure, I think. Actually, what's the rush? These are videos are crafted for relaxation, so reading stuff is probably a good thing. I am So Lorenzo probably brought in this guy, and he is the helper. So he's getting the 15%. So he's not the driver. And this is not for certain. And Lorenzo certainly wasn't the driver, and we don't even have his mugshot or anything. The young guy isn't the driver. So let's put it here. Young guy, not driver. Or then I'm wrong, because there's a few things bugging me with these messages. So I'll start with this one again. Are you sure we can trust this guy? He seems all over the place. So I know you hate unpredictability, but we've already seen what he can do. I'm sure we've already seen what he can do, so I don't know what this is about, but it might be the purse snatching. So he's just because it doesn't really have anything to do with like bank robbery. It's rather the opposite of a bank robbery, just robbing some old lady on the street. I hate Lorenzo as well, but someone that has his respect must be at least somewhat capable. So I was sort of unsure if he's talking about Lorenzo or the other guy, the wild card, a little bit. But perhaps not. And then I overheard something real interesting. $600 cash. It'll be real quick, and it's on the way. It's on the way to where? So I'm just gonna have to assume that this all happened on the same day, because it's on the way to wherever, I guess. But boss told us don't use this number if it's not related to the job. Now the other guy is the boss. Lorenzo has got this guy in. So he's the guy who they don't know from prison. So it is these two guys. Let me just make sure. Willow Bay, 99, 2000. So these two guys know each other. So that means that Frank Carter is the guy who was the driver. This guy is the boss. This guy is the helper, and this guy is the one who snatched the purse. Because this guy was arrested and he was hanging around the van. The problem is, well, his phone is in the van. Other phones aren't in the van, so we're going to have to deduce this. Sort of. I'm not sure if it is deduction. Is it? It is sort of, but not really. I don't know. So we're going to say Frank Carter is the driver, and then purse snatcher was Mr. Anthony Young. Whoops. Youth, Anthony Young. So I feel that we've sort of gotten to the core of this case, although it's it's one of those things where we're going to have to leave it to the lawyers. I would not be happy with this. I would want to, of course, talk to all the suspects and everything, but it's being omitted intentionally so that I have to sort of make deductions, like the lady said in the beginning, where I have to sort of figure out theories myself. Some things are omitted from me, which is one of them is access to these suspects right now. So to, I guess, prove that I can I can reason, or to show them how much I can reason, I guess. I will also have to write the reasons for this. So, arrested at car, no other phones in car, his phone in car, at car during arrest. Not sure how the bank robbery thing happened, whatever. I'm sure there were other things. Phone conversations I don't have to write here because they're sort of weird. And then Anthony Young, stranger, for not sharing prison time together. Plus, brought in by Lorenzo, and let's see, the petty theft, stole from the elderly, there we go, breaking and entering, con money, so he has done that before, like purse snatching, armed robbery, identity theft, so he's this guy's familiar with robbing banks, basically, and this guy is well, someone he shared time with in prison. So that is my hypothesis. I should check it. And you know what? I'm going to take responsibility. So we are going to look at the phone one more time and see how this guy is 113 is the young guy. No, hold up. Yes. Young guy, but of course with the name, with one of their names being Young, this is not probably the best note, but I know what I'm saying. They're the young guy. They're the one who sort of planned it, probably. This one is the wild card. And then this one is probably Lorenzo sending a message that it's go time or something. Wait, this is 1st of October, 5th, 2nd. Why do these dates go so weird? They're not chronological. 2nd, 5th, 1st. 5th, no, 5th. What? Oh, they're giving the date. There we go. Of course. Man, am I dumb. So on the 2nd, they're talking about that. On the 5th, he's gonna snatch a purse before the whole fucking thing, or they're both gonna do it. Well, send me the details on my other phone. I'll decide then. She only saw one, so let's go back here. Yeah, might be 2. Only saw 1, but the other person might have, you know, there might have been 2 of them. The other person went the other way or something with the purse and whatever, and he didn't decide whether he was going to do it or not. And then, of course, me being the dumbass I am, this one, because I was like, this is deleted, it's red, it's weird, but this is the day of the robbery, and they are getting the date on the 1st, so that is Lorenzo. So we're getting there. Right. And then, this is sort of conjecture, but later on, it is something that can give us, like, if none of the numbers match anything, then it could be true. Now it is sort of It's a few percent more possible, I think. Then we need to prove, or at least demonstrate somehow, well, because the money was in the car, they hadn't split it yet, at least. Probably. But since it was on the same day, that doesn't really give us any real sort of information on when, like at what time did the bank robbery begin. I'm gonna have to look at this one because there is a time on here, I guess, 1708 on the 5th of October. So this is, they've been sort of, they've been booked. I'm not sure about evidence gathering, like how long it takes for them to get this done, but Mason Widmark, but it is on that day of the bank robbery, and it is at 5:08 p.m. when the evidence is being taken out by, I guess, the investigator. So at 17:08, 5:08, and the phone messages were around 2:40 was the last one, 2:42. I have a problem with this, that he didn't actually make it. So let me just write that down so I don't forget that one. Might have been 2 is didn't make it in time. Because that would sort of exclude him from the suspect list. So time, date of theft, time, yeah, he could have made it. He still could have made it depending on where he was at 3:10 p.m. And I would have to assume that the plan was to rob the money and then jump into the van and disappear. So let's have a look at, I left the cafe about 45 minutes later, so it's around 2:45. Car convenience, and that was around the time that I got knocked over by a man coming up from behind me. Next thing I knew, I was watching him turn around the left corner with my purse in his hands. You'll never really think that such things happen, whatever. All I remember is that he was a bit taller and dark hair and light skin. I asked the passerby to call the police, so everything happened sort of quickly, and then the guy sort of vanished as well. So that would make me feel that maybe they would not have more cues. Maybe they would not have robbed the old lady if the other guy didn't join in. Like, if he robs him, where is he gonna? He's gonna run. So he's just gonna run down the street. That's not really good. He should have like a getaway vehicle. So, but he's insane, basically, or not insane, but he's, you know, a little twitchy. So needed getaway car. Now this is sort of like if true, then both were involved. But then I'm already using the word if here, which I don't know. But I would imagine that if you're gonna rob someone, then and you're gonna ask someone else to come with you, are you gonna do it? I can't see into his mind. is he going to do it anyway? How many times was he arrested? 3 times, 95 and 03. So he's spent a long time out of jail. It's been a long time since he's been caught. It's been 6 years, more than 6.5 years since he was caught. Although 3 years to that, so it's like 3 years. No. He's been in jail all the fucking time. 5'7". They're all taller, so the height doesn't really give us anything. I mean, and she was on the ground, so this is, 1 inch difference. If she can do that, she should probably get money for her skills. And since there's no time on the exact, there's a time for when she was booked, so it was on the same day, but there's no time here, and it's the same investigator, Alan Jones. There's so much to digest here, but I think I'm sort of getting the hang of it, because the case is fairly simple. It's about just like pushing numbers around, basically, when it comes to it. But so he's been out, and he's immediately going back. Okay, so let me just do one thing, because any defense lawyer, if the prosecutor brings up the numbers, the lottery numbers, and maybe the defense says for these guys is like, no, it was his lottery ticket, and this is the reason for the numbers. Let me just check. So 128, 71, 19. Shit. That's a possible number too. 499. But yeah, there's no sort of, it doesn't work in a way where he could use the same numbers or the same reasoning to claim the ticket for himself. Like, you gotta think about that kind of stuff, maybe. Or actually, you don't have to think about it, but that's what I started thinking about. So 310, so right, went on a tie right there, but it was all related. Well, send me the details on my other phone. I'll decide then. So 240, they have half an hour to decide whether to do it or not. So it's possible that he made it. And why did he even ask? It is probably because to get the getaway driver, and so they had to drive all the way there from here. Was that some sort of info thing about the alphanumeric input is half width? I don't understand. Anyway, so we don't know the exact distance, but this guy is at the cafe about an hour before, 2 hours before the initial bank robbery. So then he sends the message. They start walking, or she starts walking, and then there's 30 minutes because the other guy is probably somewhere around. At least he has to be around in town. Supreme Burgers. It's like, which way do they take? I don't know. Nobody does. ATM is right here. So I think maybe these are hints at camera locations that have been removed from our sort of, because they would prove this case basically. So they in order for them to give us a training mission, they need to be able to 100% prove what happened, so that they can actually use it. So I would imagine that they have cameras here and they have a camera here possibly, and then they checked both of these cameras, and on one of them they could see what happened, or the people, maybe the van or someone running. This is sort of weird because she said left, like I mentioned before. Well, there's a restaurant there too. Maybe someone was in the restaurant and that's where he came from. But anyway, came from here, and the pin is in the corner, so it's hard to say which direction. Turn left, and then she called the police. And there's a pin that has nothing to do with it, but it would make sense if they turned left and they start driving around here somewhere. Take the highway, go back around, I don't know. There's nothing to go on with there. So the question, I guess, is, would he go through with the theft of the lottery ticket without a getaway driver? The money wouldn't be in the car if... Why would he leave the money in the car if... Why would he leave the money in the car if the driver wasn't involved? There's also a thing where they had to cash in the lottery ticket in order to get all the money. So the money isn't really telling me anything that I need to know, because they would have to rob them. And I mean, I think all of this needs a car. If the money is involved in this, the whole thing needs a car. Like, where is it? There it is. So, theft, then getaway, cashing ticket, driving to bank equals requires a car, I would imagine, because it's starting to get really confusing if they're running around. They just robbed an old lady, or the dude robbed an old lady, then he's running around, then he's going to rush into the bank, leave the money in the car, then go rob the bank or whatever. Why would he even share it? He would just keep it. So money in car equals driver involved. Now, I'm sure this game thinks that the purse snatching was the two guys. Even though one of them was the driver and one of them was snatching the purse, it's not going to be like, no, it was only the one guy snatched it, the other one was just the driver. I don't think the game is going to play me like that. So I think we're done with the first I think we're done with the first mission. I feel like this is going to be an additional series running alongside other series, because I feel like for one to watch this, I feel like you sort of have to have like a notepad yourself and pause the video and so on. But I really like this game though. There are a few things that I'm like, oh shit, like I'm not sure if it's enough information. I hope that the developer has sort of gone through these things and understands that, you know, some things aren't evidence and things like that. I really do hope so. But let us let us finish this now, because I feel like there's not much that I can do. So I'll add one more. Answers is one is the driver is Frank Carter. First in list of suspect. First in list of suspects. Then it is again Carter and Anthony Young. Frank Carter and Anthony Young. Okay, I think we're... Oh shit, I can use that. Fine. I don't... I think this is maybe too complicated because I can just write it down. But anyways, I feel that we're right. And feeling is not one of those things that you want to bring into court. But since we are in the detective position here, trainee detective position, I feel that we have... we haven't solved the case, but we have enough to move forward. So, I don't know, I feel... Let's see. And I should check that their names are correct. So that I won't get a wrong answer because of a typo. Let's see if those are saved, because I can always write them again. Frank Carter, Young Anthony. Let's submit it. I hope it still asks for it, because I sort of... my mind works funny sometimes. When I click submit, that's the exact moment when I'm like, oh shit, that doesn't make any sense. Why did I do that? I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
Well done.
Shit.
You've passed this case file.
Holy fuck. I'm pretty satisfied. I was really like... Because it's really simple. Well, maybe, I don't know if I call it simple, but it's simple in the sense of there's not an overflow of information. And... they gave me, you know, a pretty accurate set of details. I mean, a pretty limited set of details. There was a lot of guesswork, but that was the whole idea, I think. And I feel that you know, when a few things clicked for sure from a few different perspectives or directions, that's when you sort of get a feeling maybe of overconfidence sometimes, because then you sort of feel so strongly about figuring something out. So it's like it's a bit of a trap, a roller coaster of emotions in a sense, where sometimes you feel that something is right from a couple of different things, and then a third piece of information completely demolishes every thought that you had. But in this scenario, in this case, there wasn't that much information in that sense. There wasn't that much data. There were a lot of holes in the whole story, a couple of hints in a way from the map of unrelated locations, but I think those might have just been for, you know, diversion's sake. So the ATM might have been for, you know, maybe he went over to, the defense might say that no, he went to the ATM and got the money from there. Not sure, because, you know, ATMs don't have cameras and whatever, but there might be, you know, the ATM might have been there just to demonstrate that, you know, there are other ways of attaining cash. But I really enjoyed this, and this is just the trial, and I'm thinking that this is probably really easy. As I've said in other videos and series, I'm not really good at this stuff maybe, but and I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say it, but I feel that I've gotten a lot better because I've never really done anything like this. I figured, like, I don't know, watching detective shows as a kid was always like, well, they always have some hidden knowledge that we don't, and then they solve the case through that. Or then it's really rushed because things are constantly happening and the detective actually has like days to sort it out, and we're watching a 30-minute video and everything. So I always thought it was a waste of time in a sense. So it was just people throwing around guesses, and then maybe one of them's right. But through all these series, I feel like this is really has changed my mind about the sort of the detective genre, I would imagine. But yeah, I'll leave it there and call it a day. This was really fun. Not sure how it's going to correspond into the video, like for someone watching, but we'll I don't. It doesn't matter. That's probably not why I'm doing these anyway. But I'll see you in the next one, where we are going to see probably a larger, more vast case. Goodbye.